This is Renee and welcome to my little world. Long time no see. Quite some months went by since I last made and uploaded a video. I didn't upload for a while due to multiple reasons that I'm not going to bore you with. But one of the most important reasons was my mental health. Not to make you guys worry, because I am doing okay now. But the reason why I did mention my mental health is because it kind of tied into my journaling journey that I kind of went through this year. And I kind of reinvented journaling for myself. But I will get into that while I will show you my journals. As I said in my video where I explained my kind of planner setup, my journal setup for 2022, I said that I was going to use the Hobonichi Techo cousin Avec. And that basically means that the Hobonichi planner that I was using was parted into two journals, one for each half of the year. So as you can see, these are the two journals. And I'm going to start with the first one. Let's put this one away. And I had the cover and the cover on cover that I bought for this journal specifically on there for a while, but since this journal isn't in use anymore, I decided to put on a Midori A5 cover, which fits perfectly, and I decided to decorate the cover as well to give it kind of more of a theme. So that's what I did with the outside. I just kept it quite basic. And when I started this journal, I decided to decorate the first page. I also kept it quite minimalistic. Then for my journal, I decided to kind of set a few words or like phrases for that half of the year. And as you can see, I decided to get inspirational here. For the kind of overview for the half of the year, I decided to write down my most important events that I had, so kind of a reflection of the whole month. And at first I decided to print a inspirational quote that best fit that month in it, but as you can see, I kind of gave up in April, and that's what happened throughout this whole planner, is that I kind of gave up in April. That's when I started to realize that maybe this planner wasn't as useful and practical for me as I thought it would be. As always, as I do with videos that have personal journaling in them, I might either skip over a few pages if it gets too personal, or blur some written things, but I hope you understand that. This is what I did for the monthly overviews. When I first started this journal, I thought it would be a great idea to kind of write down in an overview the things that I did. I had different kind of templates for each task that I did, so that whenever I don't feel like I'm productive, I can actually see in an overview what I did that day. And I thought that maybe that would help me to realize that even though it feels like I'm not doing things, I still do things, and I can read that here. But like the rest, it didn't really stick, and the themes that I went for also corresponded with the themes that I went for in my actual planner, because this book is actually a planner, but I didn't really use it as a planner. I use it more as a personal journal. And as you can see, I again gave up in April. Then for the weekly overviews, I decided to fill them up with inspirational quotes, affirmations, Bible scriptures for each day. At first I really thought that this was a great idea. I really liked doing it as well. But I realized that it was very hard to maintain, because I thought that it wasn't very practical for me to kind of flip back and flip through every day. And it took me a long time to kind of journal every day, and I didn't think that it was for me. I really still like the idea and I think it looks cool. But here you can already see that I kind of gave up with being creative with it, and it was also a good practice for my hand lettering. I feel like I really got a lot better with hand lettering this year. But at first I stuck in paper and you can see I didn't do that as much. And this is only March, so... because it took me just so much time to find a quote. Because sometimes I don't stumble upon quotes, I just really have to find something I resonate with. So yeah. Again, I gave up kind of halfway, so I didn't do anything with that the rest of the year. Then here I made a whole spread with all of the goals that I wanted to accomplish this year, but again, I don't really like it when I have to flip back on certain pages, so I completely forgot that I had this spread even. For the first day of the month, I decided to kind of create a reflection spread where I reflect on the whole month, and I really like that. Sorry if you can hear the rain, by the way. It's very rainy today, and if you hear some sniffling or stuff like that, our dog is chilling on my bed, so if you hear anything, that's where the noise is coming from. And as you can see, I really struggled a bit with the design and what I wanted to do with it. So it kind of, at first I started experimenting with the space because I have to get used to this journal and the paper and just everything. And this is actually my first photo that I printed with my then new pocket printer. I bought a pocket printer in January of this year. It's a Xiaomi pocket printer. I really like it. It's very handy. It's not very expensive like other pocket printers are. And what I really like about the printing is you don't need ink because it's thermal printing. And I also really like that the pictures that come out of it kind of double as a sticker, so you can just stick it in, and it's very handy, very practical for my journals. And for the end of every week, I just started to kind of stick in an extra paper where I would write down things that I wanted to reflect on. I was very big on reflecting and practicing gratitude, and these things are kind of a thing in the Netherlands. I'm not sure if it's in any other country, but in the Netherlands we have kind of this tea brand, and whenever you get yourself a cup of tea, like the little card on the tea bag is where you can find a little question, kind of a question of the day or something to start a conversation with. So it's kind of a conversation starter, and I kind of collect these now, and my whole family is collecting them for me at this point. And I sometimes just stuck them in and write about the question. And something I also did a lot in this journal is making pockets. So I made a pocket, and on the back of this paper I would write down what happened that day and kind of do my journal entry there. And here's another reflection, and I would use some of these kind of reflection cards. I think it's just from an account on Pinterest that makes these a lot, so I decided to print those out and use those because I found them very useful. Then this is one of my favorite spreads of this journal, and it's kind of Techo themed and coffee themed, and I just really like the tan paper, the scrap paper. I always have a weakness for that. And right here I kind of began experimenting more and thinking more out of the box and going back to my original style. I also really like this. I created this with different kinds of washi tape, and I would just like kind of rip them apart, and that created this very playful vintage look. And something I also did a lot was writing with different color pens, depending on what color theme I was going for that day. I also really like this one, but again, I have kind of a soft spot for this particular color green. And I stuck this photo in because I actually pulled this particular photo card in my Wii album from Wii. And this is another one of my favorite spreads of this journal. I really was in my Wii phase this time of year. And here's another one of my favorites. I really like these kind of jewels, rhinestone stickers. I also really like this one. I created this with kind of scratch paper, like paper you can scratch off and it becomes holographic. And here I got into I envy you phase. And here I created more of those pockets that I told you about. And we're back to the color green. I also really like this. It's really unique and out of the box, and I should do this kind of spread more. I really like the circles. I also really like this, especially the washi tape. It kind of has this metallic feel to it. I really like that. And a lot of the pictures that I printed out were printed with my pocket printer, so whenever I would create a spread or prepare a spread, I would just grab my pocket printer and just quickly print something out. And here I decided to go for more of a minimalistic style, as you can see. Here are two more pockets. I still really like these pictures of Handong. And I really got even more obsessed with Dreamcatcher. I also decided to keep more of receipts and stuff like that in my journal, and I also decided to create more folding things. Trying to get it open. Like this, you can really like fold it all out. It really causes my journal to become very thick and bulky, but I don't really mind. You can slowly see my style developing into something more minimalistic. Sometimes I just didn't feel like creating a full elaborate spread. This is when we prepared our living room and our home for the dog, because we got a dog on May 1st of this year. His name is Neo, and he's a Yorkshire Terrier and Chihuahua mix. Here is the first toy that I bought him, Ozzy, the opossum. And here is our sweet little boy. He's 10 years old and we got him from Cronconaria. He had two previous owners before us, so we don't know all of his history, but we fell in love with his cute little face immediately, so we just had to bring him home to us. Oh, look at this little face. I love him so much. He's literally the light of my life. And this is when my best friend Danny and I went to K-pop Flex. I really liked the artists, but K-pop Flex was, how do I say this? It was so badly organized, so that was really a bummer. Some more memory keeping. Oh. Here is when I went to the zoo, and I made a video about that. I got these cute dog stickers from Craftelier, I think. And you can kind of see that I started to give up a little bit more. This is a feather from my best friend's pet. He has a bird, and his feather came out when I visited him, so he gifted it to me. It's very cute. I had to just stick it in. Another pocket. I still really like this spread. It's very colorful. And you can see that I kind of got more, well, I wouldn't say bored, but I just kind of gave up with journaling. And this is the last page of this journal. I didn't even do anything with all the other pages that came with this journal. So I kind of gave up and moved to the next one. So let's do that. This is part 2. And I bought this cover on Etsy. I will try to find the shop and I will link it in the description below. I filled these pockets. And again, I had some inspirational quotes for this half of the year as well. And because I kind of gave up in the last journal, I decided to not continue with my reflections and inspirational quotes and everything. So let's just move on. This is a stamp that I created myself with, of course, the face of Neo, our dog. And I started out pretty minimalistic again. I really like this spread. It's not like super complicated, but I really like the detailing I did with my white pen. Here's another pocket. And I started to stick in notepad papers and just write on those and decorate them with stickers. And I really like how these look. I also really like those stickers, they're very cute. and I would kind of do a different theme or color scheme like for each day. And I got these sticker books with kind of a planner theme, and I also got sticker books with emotions and stuff like that, so I kind of had stickers in all the different colors. And at this point in time I decided to write down what I wanted to say and decorate it with stickers that kind of had to do with what happened that day or how I was feeling that day or stuff like that. And I really like how these two in particular look. And I kind of did that for a while. And as you can see, I kind of started to journal less and less. Like the text on my paper becomes smaller and smaller. And at this point in time, I really was struggling with my mental health and with my journaling as it is. And what I struggled with was I have this great habit of hyperfixating on something, and then I would kind of make it my job to finish what I started, and that results in me not liking my hobbies anymore because it becomes a chore. It becomes a chore for me. And that's kind of what happened with my journal. When I started journaling, I really wanted to tell myself, okay, Renee, you're not supposed to journal every day. You don't need to journal every day. And it's okay if you can skip a few days. But what kind of happened with this journal is, because it's dated, as you can see, the pressure for me to write every day was very difficult for me. And it kind of took a toll on my experience with journaling overall. And it made me feel really stressed. And I really disliked that. And in the end, I talked about it with my psychologist, and she literally said, like, do you have to journal every day? You can also decide to journal once every week. It causes you this much stress to write down every day what happened. Do you really do it because you enjoy it, or do you do it because you kind of have to do it? And that's when I stopped journaling for a while. As you can see, I prepared the different colors for that day, but I kind of stopped journaling altogether. And it kind of made me think of what I wanted. And at first we kind of made an agreement that I would just journal every week, like once every week. And that is where this came from. I would write down everything that happened that week in one go. And it still didn't feel like I was getting anywhere. And that's when I took a distance from journaling altogether. I did journal during my vacation. I had a different journal during my vacation, but that was kind of a journal to just write about all the things that I did on my vacation days. And it was kind of different from journaling in this journal for me, because during a vacation you tend to go places and do fun stuff, whereas journaling in here during the days that I was working, it kind of felt like every day was becoming the same. I would write down like, today was great, work went well, and I'm tired, I'll go to sleep now, bye. Kind of that kind of feeling. So I decided to like switch it all up and kind of try things out to start journaling again and to start going back to journaling again. This is a spread that I made to kind of still make a reflection about what my vacation was like, even though I already wrote everything down in another journal. I still didn't have it in me to really abandon this journal altogether. So this is what came out of that. And I also decided to journal more about my mental health. I spoke about it with my psychologist at the time, because we were kind of getting to the end of my sessions with her. And I felt like I still didn't really feel comfortable getting through every week without kind of reflecting on my mental health in a way. So that's when I decided to kind of start journaling about my mental health. and I felt that it was very refreshing for me. And that's when I came up with the idea to just have 1 hour of the week where I would completely focus on making a journal spread about my mental health, and I would call it a mental health check-in. And I would go over the factors that would contribute to my emotions that week. And I would also reflect on what I am most proud of that week and what I am most happy with that week and what my most prominent sensations were that week. So kind of what did I feel this week? What did I see this week? What did I taste this week? And really focus a bit on mindfulness. And I really felt like this helped, and it really gave me back my love for journaling that I had before. And this is a random spread when we went out for dinner, and I really liked it. So I did also journal like as I normally did, but for me it mostly got more about reflecting on my mental health. And this spread is when I went to a museum. I went to the exposition of Tim Walker called Wonderful Things. And I bought his art book in the end, and I also bought some postcards. And I really love his work, and I just had to make a spread about it. And this is another mental health check-in, and at this point I was kind of eager to start a different journal. And before I was kind of scared to abandon this journal, but because I was so eager to start a new one, I kind of didn't want to work in this journal anymore. And I was like, I still want to journal, but I don't want to journal in here. And if I don't journal in another journal, I will not put down anything that I want to write. And I was kind of contemplating whether I should just leave this journal as it is and start a new one, or I would not like anything that I did in this journal. So in the end, I made the decision to stop this journal, to kind of abandon it, and I would start a new journal. But this is what I made in this journal, and I hope it all makes sense. And then I started with this journal. If you saw my kind of a planner 2022 setup, you will remember this particular ring binder. It kind of got stained. I tried to remove some of the stains with an alcohol pad, but it was a lot worse before, but I don't think it gets any better than this, unfortunately. But this is the binder that I used for my planner. But again, I didn't go through with that because of all the stress. So I decided to create a journal in this particular binder. And I started this journal with the thought of trying to get back into journaling and loving journaling again. And so another thing that I really hated about this year is I had so many different planners and journals. I had a K-pop journal, I had a personal journal, I had a personal planner, I had a work planner, I had a doggy journal at some point, and it all got too much for me. I kind of got like swept into the journaling community a bit. I don't mean it as a bad thing, but the journaling community really has an obsession with starting a different journal for every category or subject, and that's what I kind of started doing as well. And I realized this year that that was not for me at all. So in this journal, I decided to just journal about what I wanted to journal about. And it also made me realize, let me open it because I will keep on blabbing if I don't. But what I also realized with this journal is that you don't need to write in a journal every day to work on memory keeping. You can still like write something in your journal every week or something like that, and it can still count as memory keeping. And that's what I really wanted to keep in mind with this journal. And I wanted to just share the things that I wanted to share. And I wanted to write about the things that were in my thoughts that day. And it doesn't really have to be memory keeping in the journaling as a diary, like writing down what happened every day, but writing about, for instance, what book I was going to start with reading. That's also a form of memory keeping, and it was really eye-opening for me to realize that, and I really liked that. But I started this journal in November, and I did want kind of a reflection spread or multiple spreads where I reflected on everything that happened for me this year. So that's what this is. It's still not finished because December is not over yet, so I still have to fill that in, but I also wanted to do a reflection even though the year is not over yet. I also wanted to kind of let go of the idea that it always has to be a spread. For instance, this is just one page about journal inspo and one page about how much I have grown as a person this year. And it doesn't really have to be completely within the same theme or anything. I really wanted to unlearn my stuck up ways, kind of. This is my preparation for the Dreamcatcher concert, and I loved it. I was in front. It was actually on my birthday, on my actual birthday, that they came to the Netherlands, and Sion wished me a happy birthday. And I saw them at the meet and greet, so it was just, this was the most amazing birthday ever. But let's move on. And I also thought about what I wanted my 2023 to represent, and that year will represent the word want, because everything so far for me was a must. I must do this, I must do that, and I kind of want to let go of that in 2023, or at least I try to. This is a spread about different kinds of books that I would like to read one day, and another list. I also really like doing lists lately. This is my reflection, or at least my journal diary spread for the actual concert. I held up this banner that said today is my birthday. That's why Sion noticed me and wished me a happy birthday. Here is a picture of Neo. And he got a little jacket because it was too cold during winter for him, so we got him a little jacket. He's not used to the cold weather yet in the Netherlands, because it can get quite cold here. This is a spread about the tarot reading that I started doing. It was the first time that I ever did a tarot reading for myself, so I wanted to write down what resonated with me. A spread about everything that I got for my birthday. And I also decided to do more mental health notes and kind of personal essays. I really like writing personal essays lately. I really like to write down everything that is on my mind that day. Some YouTubers that I watch a lot. And as you can see, I also really like to experiment more in this journal. I have this little booklet here, and I make a lot more folders and sticking in envelopes and things that you can flip and fold out, and I really like how this journal kind of comes together so far. And I also have been doing a lot more with my religion as well. I got this kind of calendar that you can rip off a paper from, like, each day, so, and I use those in my journal as well. And sometimes I just like to collage. This is a picture of Aurora that I drew, and I made a kind of a spread from it where you can flip over this picture and it will show you QR codes of the first few music videos of her that I saw. This is a poem that I wrote. This is a typical Dutch holiday that I made this for. This is a spread where I am rating my hairstyles that I did this year, and it can just be as simple as that. I wanted to make a spread about this, so I did, and it's not like very deep. It doesn't really have to be deep all of the time. Like this, I made a spread all about my swatches and the way that I reorganized my pens. It can be just as simple as that. I got some new washi tape for the winter. So I decided to stick those all in. This is my new Christmas ornament that I bought for this year for our Christmas tree. And this is our Christmas card this year. Of course it had to be with Neo. And he has this little Christmas bow tie. A fun weekend that I spent with my friend. This is kind of a challenge that I did with one of my pen pals. And this is another booklet with all of the Christmas songs that I really like. And here's another flip thingy. And that's what I journaled about so far. As you can see, it's very diverse. And I really like journaling about everything that is just on my mind. As you can see, I started this in November and it's already full. Like, it barely closes. So I might move to another journal or start over in this one, or we'll see how it goes. At this time, I really want to keep every option open, and I just want to do what I feel like. And for now, I'm very happy with how my journaling journey is going, and I hope to continue with it in 2023. So it's nice to be back on YouTube again, and as always, this was my video. I hope you like this video, and I hope that 2023 will bring you health, peace, and happiness. And stay hydrated, stay tuned, and until my next video, bye!